If you believe a better world starts from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hold the Light. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman, founder of Hold the Light Collective. This is a special series, a guided exploration of the Freedom Transmissions, a spiritual book about building a strong inner foundation so you can show up more authentically in your life and in the world. Let's begin. The Servitude of Longing, pages 149 through 161. This is a chapter about the energy of belonging, and it can be summed up like this: what you belong to also belongs to you. Here, we're going to explore how our choices about where we place our sense of belonging either lead us towards freedom or keep us bound in patterns of seeking and longing. We're being asked to bring our awareness to this issue since it's an issue that's prevalent both individually and collectively, internally and externally. We're going to discuss three core themes here: the pull between the ego self and the soul self, true belonging versus longing, and how discernment and making conscious choices is needed for our freedom. We'll also talk a little bit about influencers, branding, and what happens when we allow outer people and institutions to define us. This is the Servitude of Longing. So why is it important for us to take a look at longing and belonging? Well, because it gives us another opportunity to unstitch from anything that keeps us out of our soul self and keeps us bound to our ego identity. So let's take a look at this. We learn our ego identity is the illusion self, attached to form and biased towards fear. It's the part of us that's in separation, detached from truth. This part of us is fixated on getting mine no matter what. It's the part of us that craves purpose mainly for power and safety within the outer world and not through co-creation with our spirit and the divine. This chaff self, or our illusion self, as we've discussed in past chapters, is always dissatisfied and disappointed and always in want instead of gratitude for what it already has. It may want communion and connection, but dismisses having that connection with the divine. And so when we allow this part of us, the chaff identity, to be dominant, it keeps us bound and at the mercy of defining ourselves and our worth based on outer standards. On the other hand, our wheat self, our true divine spirit self, is not attached to form identity. It welcomes change and serves from the divine. It's the self that, quote, honors its needs and fulfills its anointed purpose of serving unmet needs through its own unique original essence within the world. It is humble, simple, pure, accepting, and kind. So we're taught that to reclaim our authentic self, our soul self, over the illusion ego-based self, the energy that we need to utilize is the energy of belonging. So we all want to belong, right? I mean, of course, it's built into us to want to belong to our family, our friends, our community, and we want others to belong to us too, in our hearts. But when the energy of belonging becomes outer focus, this is when we get tripped up. This is when imbalances happen, when we place value on the external and find ourselves wanting to belong to groups, people, energy, things, and possessions that aren't in alignment. It's this energy that can keep us in an endless state of being in longing. In this state, we're never fulfilled. We find ourselves constantly seeking, but never finding on a sustainable basis. It's an endless cycle of longing to fit in, be seen, be accepted, be honored. It's a state of lack that clouds our perception and keeps us from actually belonging to anything except our wants and external seeking. So what happens when we're in this state? Well, we fall into complaining, dissatisfaction, victimhood, and ingratitude. We find ourselves in the energy of ownership, feeling weighed down by comparing and competing, and an extremely tiresome preoccupation with judgments surrounding your worth and that of others. This can lead to years of external seeking and giving over healthy ownership of your worth to others, including institutions. So, when we're seeking to belong to something, we are being asked to be careful about who we give the power to accept or reject us. Because when we're in the ego, mind-based illusion self, which the majority of us are attached to, the energy of belonging can become imbalanced and our perception of ourselves and the world gets muddled. We're told that we will have worth if we amass money, power, status, beauty, sex, and celebrity. But guess what? Here's the good news. In the eyes of the divine, we're always worthy. However, we are being called to have a spiritual path or center. If we are more of our human self than our Yeshua self, balance will not be aligned for us. Our spirituality is not something to check off of our to-do list. So the question is, what do you want to be powered by? If we choose external power and imbalanced wants, we will be owned by these things. In order to take ownership of ourselves and to be in a true state of being, we need to choose our internal divine power and give over attachments to external wants. As it says in the book, here we will truly know what it is to belong, to balance, to humility, to freedom, to joy, to God, to your whole self. We learn the movement into the essence of the absolute within yourself is your journey and purpose in this life. So, within this chapter, there's talk about branding. What is branding? Branding, as it's offered in the book, is ownership. I quote, "Those of you creating brands, be very cautious, because soon enough that brand can confine you. A brand can evolve, but that means you need to evolve before and as it does. Also, be discerning about the brands you follow." Okay, so let's take a look at two different types of brands. Some brands are more like spaces of community, equality, and communion. There's transparency in these spaces. They don't cater to you or make false promises. They don't push. These spaces are more like essence. They offer a unique, resonant essence. So look for those instead of others that project and push a brand. Other brands, they live in fear of loss, and so they want to control as much as they can, including you. And this includes social media, news, and government or political structures. The book offers that these brands distort the truth to keep you drunk on fear. When we allow groups to define us, including nationality or identity groups, and we find ourselves in an us versus them world, we've entered the void of measurements of worth. And in these spaces, if you start feeling anger, blame, shame, fear, hatred, or suppression rising within you as a byproduct of belonging to that structure, it's time to ask yourself if you belong to it or if you're owned by it. These shadow feelings are your soul's way of letting you know it's time to take a step back. Other things to be cautious of: influencers. Many of these people who want to influence you can be really charming, but they often have no real interest in you. We learn, be careful of those under the guise of altruistic intentions. They create imbalance and want you to adhere to their ideology and authority. So decide for yourself what feels right, even if it differs from others. Take responsibility for your own journey. Leave those spaces and platforms that don't feel right for you and take back your power. Use discernment. And instead, reach for those who inspire and guide. If you want to belong to anything, belong to the divine. Here you're under the influence of compassion, kindness, and peace. And many of those other influencers who are trying to impose their influence on you for their own power have, and I quote, the least influence within the divine. So choose to belong to structures of resonance like simplicity and grace. And be aware of yourself too. We're offered this. Caution the egoic need you have for influence, more followers, more clicks. You have no followers. Any of you who want them are not authentic. we learn influencing is forcing. Social anything in your world right now is a mob. Mob justice, mob media, mobism, chaffism. Have faith in us to restore order and balance, not anyone professing to deliver your joy to you in a carefully measured spoonful. So seek to be a follower of peace and kindness, compassion and forgiveness. Those are the true influencers and leaders. And seek originality. Seek to be yourself. Everything you need is already inside of you. We're encouraged to focus on structures of resonance that honor us as individuals. Focus on structures that are humble, organic, and non-invasive. Focus on creating your own structure of resonance. As it says in the book, let God be your CEO, your chief energy officer. Prioritize balance through conscious choices, and be conscious of the brands you belong to and use discernment. Remember, what you belong to belongs to you. Projected fears, thought prisons, hate and blame. It's going to require courage, grief, and change to unstitch and unbraid from these, and to look at why we needed to belong to them in the first place. It takes courage to go against the grain. The last paragraph of this chapter says, when you let the imbalanced belongings go, your identity moves into freedom, new space to create. When you let these things go, you belong to freedom and freedom belongs to you. And that is when the true divine magic and braiding of the soul and spirit through faith flows forth in abundance. Before we say goodbye, I wanted to read to you the discernment prayer, which is found on page 160 in the book. Because we're being asked to use discernment with what we choose to belong to, this prayer is, as it says in the book, the prayer of invoking sovereign authority, humility, and grace. It is the prayer that sets you free. All right, so here it goes. The discernment prayer. I have everything I need inside of me at this present moment. In this moment, regardless of all within the external, including my relationships, health, financial commitments, children, friendships, I have all that I need inside of me. I belong to God. God is within me. And therein, all of my needs are met. I need nothing of the external, nor do I expect anything of the external. I am spirit. The Holy Spirit is upon me. And in this moment, I am grateful. I am at peace. I am one with God. That is my power and my right. Not at the cost or judgment of another. That is my sovereign right. No other can take it from me. I have the deep humility to know that I cannot trust my mind or feelings, but I do trust in God. And God resides inside of me equally with all others. I have the humility to know that I do not know what another needs, nor do I need to force my will upon them. I align my will with divine will, no matter the cost or gain, as all that is one with God is a gift and gain. My prayer is that all realize this sovereign truth as well, and release their dispelling of opinions and beliefs upon others. I am in great peace, in great prostration to the majesty and awe of the divine grace that is within me, and holding both of my hands at all times. I walk with you, divine, in gentleness, kindness, and peace. Amen. Here's your focus until the next episode. Read or reread The Liberation of Longing, found in Part 2, The Freedom Transmissions, under Transmission 3, Belonging, pages 162 through 171. In the audiobook, listen to The Liberation of Longing, found under Transmission 3, Belonging. All links and information are in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Keep holding the light. If this series is resonating with you, I'd love to stay connected. Visit holdthelightcollective.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter, Build the Light. It's where I share good news for the soul, plus my latest events and offerings. All links are in the show notes. And if this podcast has meant something to you, the most generous thing you can do is share it with someone. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman, with additional producing and sound design by Jonathan Grossman, who also wrote our original theme music. Until next time, keep holding the light.